Hey guys, I'm Daisho, and I am here bringing you some magic. Huh? What? Why is this happening? I want to mulligan like some of these cards, but not how this game works. Anyway, decided to go ahead and actually play some Duels of the Planeswalkers here. I think that I'm going to try and do these like once a week, because I know that there are a lot of people who are still subscribed to my channel who aren't as interested in Hearthstone, and I want to try and provide you with at least some content that you can enjoy. And let's see, this guy counters for extra lives for X is a number of fairies. So I want to drop a fairy first before I can do that, and yeah, this is a good option. In the next turn I can either play the Fairy Imposter and return the Bribery Cohort to my hand, or I can just hold up Spell Stutter Sprite and unsummon, so there's a lot of options here. Or I could just attack here and hold up Spell Stutter Sprite. So my opponent dropped a Rampant Growth here, so it gives me a good idea that he's going to be playing the big Eldrazi deck, which means that I kind of want to just race, and with cards like Unsummon, I actually have a pretty reasonable chance to do that. So I think my best option here will just be to attack. Yeah, definitely just attack first, and then I'm going to drop the Unsummon a Guy thing, and now here's where the real decision, like that play was pretty much set in stone. Here's where the real decision is going to make. Do I think my opponent's going to play another spell 2 mana or less, or do I think that my opponent is just going to play a more expensive card? And I think that the answer is just that I want to drop the 2-power guy here, because my opponent is very, very unlikely to play a card that I can actually counter with this Spell Stutter Sprite. And it was a Grazing Gladeheart, so I was correct. And now he's going to play a land. No land. So what I can do here is I can unsummon that and then counter it next turn when it comes back down. And I think I want to do that. I don't need to unsummon it right now, but I will unsummon it then. But basically, I'm going to be racing pretty heavily here, and if my opponent can... oops, sorry about that. So yeah, racing here is really good for me, but it won't work if my opponent just... Yeah, it won't work if my opponent can just gain life off of his lands. Sorry, I don't know why that's... I got a text message in between and I was like reading it and thinking about it, but I really need to just focus on this game. So countering the Grazing Gladeheart here makes sense because I can't race the 2 life that it gains from the land. It's just basically like blocking one of my creatures every turn. So anyway, with that out of the way, my opponent's only had 5 lands, so he's still a little bit away from a... He's still a little bit away from an All Is Dust, 2 turns away at least, and I can restock my hand with Concentrate. So my opponent's down to 10 life already here, and it looks like we might have a pretty quick victory. Fierce Empath doesn't do anything here. He can get whatever card he wants. I mean, I guess Pelaka Worm does something. It like fogs, buys him a turn. Avenger of Zendikar does nothing. He doesn't have nearly enough mana to cast it anyway, so... Going to play another land, and I think I'm going to flash in a Pestermite, tap down one of his lands. I'll let the other one stay untapped, and then I can counter a 4-mana spell or less, and he can only play a 5-mana spell in that case. So this is looking pretty good here. Fortunately, there's no upkeep step, so you just kind of have to spam it right at the beginning. Scoop Mob is fine. Gonna kill you next turn. Unless, I mean, he could have that fog spell. Oh, I can counter the fog. With, yeah, that'll be fine. Alright, so I don't think that I have any card that I have to worry about here. Man, that entire game took less than 2 minutes because my phone vibrates every 2 minutes after I get a text message, and I had just gotten it. So yeah, that was some beatdowns. Oh yeah, I decided to play fairies because this is pretty much the only deck I ever want to play while playing Duels. It's like, it's by far the most fun, basically. You just get to do so many cool things. Alright, this hand's not great. I get a free mulligan. 4 lands is too many for now. I want to have like 3 or 2 and then draw into a couple more. I can't do this. This isn't value. Concentrate's not so great. I think that it's an okay hand to mulligan. This one is definitely a mulligan. 5 lands is just too many. Alright, this hand's okay. It's not great. I want to curve out in this deck. I don't want to just, and I also want to play all my creatures with flash, or most of them at least, so I can hold up counters and still flash and stuff. That's relevant, but yeah. Let me just answer this message. Ooh, my opponent switched to Elves. That's a little scary. I don't really know how I'm supposed to beat this deck with this hand. But we'll see how the game develops, and then maybe I'll be able to. That's also a really bad card against me, because it means that if I'm trying to race, then it's not going to work. Also that. So I don't know, man. I guess I can build a giant board. It's going to be a tough one. It's definitely going to be a tough one. We're going to start out by dropping this guy. I mean, my opponent doesn't really have removal, so Scion of Una isn't that useful. I mean, it's a Lord, so it'll pump my dudes, which is nice, but outside of that, it doesn't do much. Uh-oh. That's going to be bad. Although, after this turn, my opponent won't really be able to attack. And he can only attack with one creature here. If he attacks with anything else, I will be thrilled. So, that's fine. And I guess, does my opponent's deck play any instant speed? I don't think it plays any instant speed combat tricks. I know it plays Lords, so he could drop one next turn, and that'll be better than my Scion of Una, but... Alright, actually, I can just do this. I don't even need to play the Scion of Una this turn. I don't really care about tricking my opponent here, I just want to... I can trick him later, and that'll be better. So the reason why I held this guy back is so that I can block here and then tap, and then that way, my God, my opponent is going to be at like 1,000 life. This is just going to get really unwinnable really quickly, and I don't have any good way of dealing with those permanents. So this is definitely not good. Eventually, that Beastmaster is probably just going to kill me, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Drawing the lands there is less than ideal as well. But anyway, as I was saying, it's good to have... I guess I could have attacked with one of them here. Taking him down from 31 to 29, I don't know. Lead the Stampede. That's a pretty good draw card here. He's probably going to draw 3 or something like that. None? He had none? Oh my God. That is insane. So he's just gaining 8 life a turn here. That's okay. I don't really need to trick my opponent. I can just... Ugh. Yeah, let's just drop this thing. And charge with one of my guys. Actually, I can charge with both of them, since this thing is going to be... Well, it's not going to be quite big enough to kill the 2/3. But it'll be big enough to block it. Favorably. Oh, wait, no, it will be. It'll be a 2/2, and it'll get +1/+1. Or +1/+3, I guess. So my guys are pretty big here. They've got Shroud. My opponent's only got 4 cards in hand to my 1. I mean, he definitely has 4 spells since he's been missing his land drops. Fauna Shaman. That's bad. Especially because I have no way of dealing with that. My opponent's at essentially... Okay, he's about to be at 49 life. Oh God. My board is a lot better than his, but these Well-Wishers are just impossible for me to deal with. Alright. Pestermite it is. At this point, my opponent can basically just Alpha Strike and get the bonus on that. That's not good at all. I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I think that my deck just loses to Elves. When they drop a Well-Wisher, there's nothing I can do. The only way I can even take one out is unsummoning it and then countering it on the way back down. Oh shoot, these have Shroud, don't they? That's fine. Discarding a Heedless one to go get something that you can actually cast. It's fine because I can just flash into Pestermite and block something anyway, so it's not really a big deal. Unless my opponent just Alpha Strikes here. Or if my opponent did that instead of doing that, I probably could have won this turn. But, you know, can't see everything all the time. Alright, let's just do this. I guess. Don't really know how this is benefiting me in any way. Another Pestermite. Okay. Well, at this point, at least my opponent's not gaining life, right? I don't even remember what my opponent got off the Fauna Shaman, but we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so my opponent can just put 7 counters on this right away. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna actually tap something down pre-combat. Because I really feel like my opponent's gonna see that line eventually, and it's not gonna be good for me. Okay, or not. Then I don't need to do anything. And at this point, yeah. I kinda wanna just Pestermite pre-combat so that he won't be tempted to attack, because this thing can attack favorably on this board, and I don't really want him to get counters. Okay. Let's do this. So I can't target any of my guys because they've all got Shroud, not Hexproof, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. Sure, we'll tap that. And my guy is... oh, it's only a 3/4. Oh, that's alright. Actually, I can unsummon the Imperious Perfect here. I'll just eat the Fauna Shaman and take 3, though. If I could kill both of his guys, I'd do it, but no real value gained by taking that line. Ooh, what do these gain life for? Elf on the battlefield, you say? I accept. Looks like nobody's losing this game anytime soon. Oh god. So at this point, these guys are attacking for 3. Well, okay. I guess I don't know why I haven't been attacking with this guy. I'll leave one thing back. No, I won't. I will attack with those, and then it is more efficient to just pump. Oh my god. It is not nice. Why are you complaining, dude? This game is insane. This is a game that you should be enjoying. This is a crazy game. He's at 40 life to my 13, but I mean, I have an awesome board and I have a well-wisher. This is just a crazy game. You shouldn't be complaining. You should be enjoying the moment. And it also, the funny part is that my opponent's complaining, even though he probably should have won this game already. Oh my god. My opponent just conceded a game where I'm basically dead on board. Alright. So, obviously the computer knew what to do right away, and I think I just have to... chump block? Well, actually, I'll just let it through. So yeah, I mean, this basically... there's no way I can win this one. I needed my opponent not to realize that Beastmaster Ascension won him the game, basically immediately. And I think that is the funniest... one of the funniest situations I've ever seen in Magic. Your opponent just flat out concedes because he doesn't feel like playing a game anymore because he thinks that there's no way he's ever going to win. And he's actually in a position where he has me nearly dead on board. So that's pretty crazy. And I'm pretty excited about that one. That was a fun game to play, and really just goes to show you that even in a situation where you think that there's no way you can win, and this comes up all the time, especially when you're playing real matches and in tournaments and stuff, and you just concede because 2 turns early or something like that because you think that there's no way that you're ever going to win. But just look, make sure that you didn't miss something, because there's often situations where you might have missed something. So if I was on the play, this hand would be insane, because I can go Zephyr Sprite turn 1 into Spellstutter Sprite, whatever you play on turn 2. But that play gets a lot worse when I am holding out Spellstutter Sprite for your turn 3 on turn 2. So still is a reasonable start because I have like a good amount of flyers and stuff, but definitely not quite as good as it could have been. This is my first Duels game in a while. He is very correct. It has been a while since I have played some good old Duels of the Planeswalkers. So Doomblade, I don't remember exactly what's in the deck that plays Doomblade, but that's alright. Definitely just want to drop the cohort here. Yep. And see what's going on, what he's got in hand, what he's got in deck. I don't really remember, but it looks like he knows what he's doing. He's got a 60 card deck, and he obviously watches the channel, or at least at some point watched the channel. So yeah, 3 mana up. It could be like the zombies deck, but the zombie deck was a lot more aggressive. So I'm just gonna play this thing and see if it survives. Like, I'm really just playing an aggro beatdown plan here. Doesn't make sense to try and leave up counters when you can only counter a... Well, maybe it did make sense. And he definitely made the correct choice on which creature to Doomblade, which is always good to see. Because, I mean, some people think, oh, I need to kill the thing that is dealing me damage right here. Ooh, that is a spicy play. So he's just going to be able to start drawing an extra card a turn, right? Because this is a zombie. Sure. And I don't think it makes any sense to just run the spell starter sprite out there. I'm getting a little land flooded here, which is unfortunate, but to be honest, the thing that's screwing me up is more of my opponent's good play than my drawing poorly. But looks like he may have transitioned the zombie deck into more of a control deck. Like, he's got this in there for some draw, and I haven't seen any aggressive zombies yet. He's probably got some left in there just because you need to include something, but he's maybe running some of the more expensive finishers, or like, I don't know. We'll see. Definitely a sweet deck that he's got here, though. Alright. And my turn. Alright, there's a Fairy Imposter, so we're going to be able to start racing here pretty efficiently this turn. I'm going to spend 3 on those, so I'll still have the Spell Stutter sprite up. So if he does have a 3-mana spell, which, not all of the removal, but a lot of the removal is pretty cheap in that deck. So actually, most of it isn't, now that I think about it, because he has like the Tendrils of Corruption, and I think there's a Corrupt or 2 in there, and then there's the 5-mana thing that gets him back a zombie. So there's actually a fair bit of expensive removal, and I can't really do much about that. I can unsummon my own creatures, which might be necessary. But yeah, I mean, he is drawing extra cards, which is really useful, and it's definitely worth it. But hopefully... Flashback Marauder. Oh no! No, 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 no! I meant to Spell Starter Sprite that. Ah! So if I unsummon it here... No, I'm just gonna sacrifice the cohort. That was a huge mistake, though. Damn. I think I actually am just gonna lose the game because of that. Alright, so here I can unsummon the Death Baron. Actually, I'll just unsummon this thing. Seems a little bit more efficient. Make him spend more mana next turn on stuff. But I think I actually had a chance to win this game if I was able to counter that. But now it's looking tough. I just wasn't paying enough attention. Man, that sucks. I knew that I was holding Spell Stutter Sprite for a 3-mana spell, and I saw him play Flashback Marauder, and then just as I like passed priority or whatever, I was like, oh no. Alright, so I'm down to 13 life here. Out of spells. He's at 7 cards in hand, but he has to worry about just straight up dying. Like if I draw into a Pestermite next turn, I actually still stand a chance. So as long as my opponent doesn't have any Corruptor or anything like that. So I just need to do. He's got 2 dudes out, so I need to do 8 damage. I have 2 on board, but I mean I can survive another turn if I draw Pestermite. Or even just by chump blocking. But it's so small of a chance that my opponent doesn't draw something that I can deal with. Alright, well, I'm just going to flash this into sacrifice. He might sacrifice the Graveborn Muse here, because he's got enough cards in hand. And It just makes sense. Yep, well played. I mean, my opponent is playing this game fabulously, I have to admit. And now I have to do 10 damage. Or, I mean, I could still grab a... Alright, well, I could actually survive one more turn. I don't think that there's anything that my deck can do after surviving one more turn. But we'll see. Oh, that'll be the game. Ugh, that was an unfortunate one. I really screwed up. I probably was still gonna lose it anyway, because I just didn't have enough resources. That Graveborn Muse on turn 4 was very, very powerful in that game, and just, I don't know, I got a little flooded, but still, definitely want to play another one if he's up for it, which would be cool. Sweet. And yeah, we can play some fairies versus zombies. This is not good. Need it. Ugh, not good either. Alright, here we go. Reasonable hand. Not great, but reasonable. I mean, it's pretty good, because I can hit for 1, and then I have 3 attacking, or 3 flying power on turn 2. 3 flying power on turn 2, which is nice. I'm only attacking in for 1 on turn 2. Today I played some Theros, or actually some Born of the Gods only draft on Magic Online, and it was very, very fun. Born of the Gods is the newest set that came out for Magic the Gathering, the paper game, for those of you who don't know, and I got a deck with 5 Loyal Pegasuses, and if you don't know what that card is, it is a 2/1 flyer for 1, except it has the drawback that it can't attack alone or block alone. So basically you need another creature, but if you have 2 Loyal Pegasuses, then they can attack together. So it's a very interesting interaction. Very smart play of him to do it this turn so that I couldn't Spellstutter Sprite him next turn. But yeah, anyway, Familiar Ruse. Ugh, that's not great here for me. So I sacrificed the one that I would rather have on the battlefield, but at the same time I'd rather return this one to my hand. So missing the land drop there is a little bit unfortunate, but not even that bad. I mean, like, it could be worse. So that is a really bad draw here. Hideous End. Like, having this card in my hand is just not that good. I can counter it with either of these two. I think that I just have to let it resolve, though, because it doesn't really serve me any purpose. So yeah, I really need to draw that land, because now I can't cast anything except for Unsummon. No Mercy. Well, that's pretty bad. And that would have been a very good thing to counter. So that's a little unfortunate that I couldn't have done that, but I mean, it happens. Alright, so here I drew the land, so now I can Pestermite. Tap one of his lands. No real purpose to it, but yeah, No Mercy is a tough one here. Tough one to beat. And drawing the land is also very good. Well, I don't want to attack. Yeah, I just want to play this Fairy Imposter. I can leave up Familiar Ruse, but I mean, he already cast the thing that I needed to counter the most, which is a little unfortunate. But I mean, I can just hit him for 17 in 1 turn, so it's not like this game's over. And my deck plays a pretty reasonable job at the control deck. I'm not really sure why I'm playing these things so aggressively and not holding up counters, because it doesn't really matter how many dudes I have on board until I can kill them. It's a good draw. Let's see. So yeah, my opponent might just play something that I can't really deal with in any other way. So I'm just gonna hold counter magic up instead of playing concentrate here. And I don't really know exactly what my opponent's gonna play, but I may as well just hold it up until I draw a couple more lands, and then I can play concentrate and Familiar Ruse, or at least just one more land, and be able to play a land that turn. There we go. Sign of Una is another great draw here. Give my guys hexproof. or not hexproof, shroud, so he can't even target him. This does give him a window where he can resolve a big thing, but most big things I can just unsummon and then counter him back on the way down. It's just like a spell would be really bad. Or Runescar Demon. The good part is that I can Sower of Temptation it. The only problem is I need to have Familiar Ruse backup. So this is going to be tough. This is a really interesting version of the zombie deck, though. I like it. Yeah, I need to draw a couple more lands here, and we can actually be right back in this game. So I'm not exactly sure what my opponent would go for in this spot. Barbarian Cohort is okay. I guess I'll drop it here. The only thing I'm concerned about is him having a cheap removal spell and then another big thing. So obviously I can't unsummon the Runescar Demon. And I want to Sower of Temptation it, but again, I need to have counter magic backup. I mean, I could just double block it instead of taking it. Well, I think it's better to take it, and I mean, I'm at a reasonable life total. I hope he doesn't attack here. Like, what part of my opponent's game would show me that he wouldn't attack? He's been playing this very well. Alright, so the card that I'm worried that he went and got is Corrupt, but that's okay. I mean, I have Familiar Ruse to counter something. Yeah, I'm worried about this card, but I actually think I can just unsummon it for now. Alright, unsummon. I have 10 damage on board. I mean, I don't think I can add 7 more with one card, but... I really need to be drawing lands instead of these spells. Alright, well, we're just going to run this guy out here. My opponent's got to have 2 things. I unsummoned that. That's not good. I was supposed to counter that. Yeah, this might have been a mistake. I need another unsummon. I need to draw another unsummon. I don't know why I played that. I forgot that I had to counter the thing next turn. He might just go ahead and drop a burn spell or like a corrupt or something. Okay, so he's just got the demon. But if he does have 1 mana... Oh, okay, so he can activate it once. And hit my... Oh, God. Oh, my God. Did not see that interaction coming. Surprised everyone, I think. Alright, well, I definitely want to just attack with the Runescar Demons so that I don't have to worry about protecting that thing anymore. I could have hit him for another 4 here, but... Alright, we'll concentrate next turn because then I'll be able to have 2 mana up. But it was probably a mistake on my part, but this is just a crazy interaction. For those of you who didn't catch what did happen, what is this? I think I just have to counter this. I can pick this up, which is kind of nice. But now I don't have any counter magic, which is not where I want to be. Let's draw some cards. There we go. Some Pester Mites up in this area. And okay, so yeah, no mercy, still preventing me from attacking, but I mean, if I just get to enough damage on my own. Ooh. Interesting play. This is losing a life, so this won't trigger it. If it was deals 1, oh no. Do I have? He just had 11 mana. That's too bad. Yeah, I guess so. He played the Bloodgift Demon to try and bait out a counter, but when I didn't have one, then I was just dead. GG's. My opponent definitely played those well, but the mulligan really hurt there. And if I had drawn an extra land at some point, I probably would have been okay. Maybe if I hadn't misplayed by just hardcasting the Sower. No, I mean, if I hadn't hardcast the Sower, then yeah, I would have gotten killed by the Runescar Demon. So what really ended up happening was that I needed one of my earlier draws in the game to be land instead of one of the other spells. And like once I had gotten 1 extra land, then I could have just concentrated, drawn 3, and then played another land. to keep up the counterspell. But what it really came down to was that I couldn't counter the first Runescar Demon, and I don't know what he ended up searching up, but it was something that could beat me. It was either Corrupt or Pestilence Demon, which would have beaten me on its own. But it was a really interesting game and a funny interaction between Pestilence Demon and No Mercy. So thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know if you want to see more Duels of the Planeswalkers in the future. I suspect that the answer will be yes, and that is not me saying that I'm going to be making daily Duels videos, but weekly is not out of the question, and if there is really like a lot of support for this video, then I will definitely try and get you guys a video, because while I enjoy playing Hearthstone more, this game is definitely still fun, and I enjoyed playing these games even though they didn't go too well. I like won, what, 1 out of 3. I'm a little rusty on my duels though, so my opponent, or at least my opponent in game 2, had the ability to play around all my spells because he knew exactly what was in my deck, but he had a really interesting build for zombies. Yeah, let's go check that out before I do sign off from this video and see what we can do with the zombie deck to make it look like my opponent's, because that was a really cool deck. Or was it Lords of Darkness? No, I think it was the zombie one. Is that the zombie one? Deadwalkers. I think it was Deadwalkers that he was playing, right? Yeah, it was definitely Deadwalkers. So he's probably playing Vampiric Tutor. I wonder if he was playing Deathcloud. Probably not. Grave Pact. Maybe. Maybe not. Definitely maybe Nightmare. I don't really know. I mean, definitely couldn't see his entire deck. Let's try Avatar of Woe. Why not? And I saw the Avatar Ghouls. Maybe he was playing Firebog Boneflinger, but maybe not. It's a little bit weak. I should sort this by cost. It's so much easier to pay attention to. I didn't see any Cruel Revivals, but I can probably assume that he was playing one. At least. I mean, it's just a good piece of removal. And did I miss anything in the beginning that I should be playing if I were to be playing this deck? Probably not. And then the cards that he wasn't playing, that I'm playing, is probably just like the early part of the curve. So Black Cat for sure, Butcher Ghouls, Bloodghast. Quest might be okay actually, and then probably these 1-drops. And we would want an extra land. This is interesting. I don't know if this is actually the list that my opponent was playing, but something like this is just is an interesting thing to consider. I wonder if this kind of deck would work. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and have a wonderful day. Bye!